Every 5 years, Kenyans go to the ballot box to choose their next political leaders. For many of us, we go because it's the right thing to do and we believe that our vote counts. And others, we go because a friend, a sister, a brother, a relative is vying and therefore we're going to give our support. And for many others, they go because it's a thing to do. It's the one day we are all told this is where you're supposed to be going and this is what you're supposed to be doing. And yet for a significant number of people, that day is just a day out. They feel nothing as far as voting is concerned. Whatever the choice you make concerning voting, it actually contributes to how this country develops and the direction it takes. Now, before you tell me I didn't vote, so it doesn't matter, and I didn't make that choice, you actually did, because this is how democracy works. When we decide as a people, that we're going to have an election, for example, and a majority of us decide this is the person we are going to choose, even for those who stay at home and decide not to vote, you've actually relegated and delegated your role to the ones who will go to vote, which means that whatever the majority of the ones who went to vote, whoever they choose, that becomes our leader. And one of the things that I've come to realize, and I have been reflecting on quite a bit of late, is we say that we get the leaders we deserve, but the truth is the leaders that we choose are a reflection of the value system that we have as a people. I'll give you an example. Every single person in a democratic country or space that is chosen as a representative of the people, which means that, in short, we say that this is the best person that we have to represent our interests. He or she understands our interests, understands our challenges, and therefore they're best placed to represent us in the decision-making table and then, of course, in the projects and development. And basically, they run the show on our behalf. We've given them the power. Of course, for many of us, whether we voted or not, we normally look back and we're so disappointed by the outcome. But the truth is, we could choose to sit and let this thing happen again, which means we vote or do not vote and then complain for another 5 years. Or we could choose to say this time something has got to change, or at least begin to change. That's what Zinduka is all about. It's an awakening to the possibility of what this country can be. It's an awakening to the realization that, honestly speaking, we are part of the problem, you and I, because every time we've chosen leaders or not chosen, we've made a decision. And every time we've sat back and complained rather than doing something about it, then we have actually delegated and relegated our powers to the few that we have put in place to represent our interests. Can we change that? Not just using the election, but can we shift how we do things in this country? Can we introduce a way of holding our leaders accountable? Not just those that get into office, but the ones that want to get into office. For example, you can't just wake up and tell us that you want to get into office and yet you have nothing to show prior to you seeking election or seeking that political position? Can we begin to put a job description in place of the kind of president that we want? Can we begin to put in place the job description of the kind of MCA that we want, the kind of MP that we want, the kind of governor that we want? Because every single one of these positions, as stipulated in our constitution, has a direct impact on our lives. Yes, it's true that many of us have always focused on the presidency, but the truth is the projects that come to the ground in your ward is a function of the MCA that you put in place. Can we begin to put a job description in place that definitely the bare minimums, when they negotiate amongst themselves, whether forming coalitions or joining political parties, they always have bare minimums. Can we begin to say that these are our bare minimums? And I'm not talking about what is stipulated in the Constitution in terms of age, educational background, etc. I'm talking about values, the kind of values that we want, the kind of people that we represent, who we are as a people, because nothing changes unless we do. And this is what Zinduka is all about.